Undersea Mystery Club, Trouble with Treasure, Book 6. For my mermaid friends, Natalie and Caroline, keep exploring. CBC. Chapter 8. The customer, a green sea turtle, came in and took a seat at the counter right next to Violet and Wally. Violet recognized her as Clara Reed, the town historian. Clara ran the local museum and sometimes worked with Violet's mom to plan town events. "Hi, Clara," Violet said. "Hi, Violet. Hi, Wally," she said with a smile. She looked over at Gil and narrowed her eyes. "Hello, Gilliam." The museum's lock had also been switched the year before, and Clara had definitely not forgotten who was to blame. "What are you all up to?" she asked, looking pointedly at Gil. Gil smiled widely and handed her a menu. "May I suggest an order of fries?" he asked, placing the mustard and ketchup bottles in front of her. Clara looked at the bottles suspiciously. "I'll have a seaweed salad," she said. "What are you two having?" "We're actually here on a mission," Violet replied. She patted the wooden box on the counter. "We found this treasure chest in the trenches outside Aquamarina, and we're trying to get it open." Clara put on the glasses that were hanging around her neck and looked at the box more closely. "Why, I can't believe it!" she exclaimed. "It wasn't me!" Gil yelled from the other side of the restaurant. "Not you," Clara said, waving him off. "This box! You found the lost time capsule of Aquamarina!" "The what?" Wally asked. "A time capsule is a container full of important items from a very long time ago," she explained. "This one is more than 100 years old. Most of our early town records and artifacts, including the map showing the location of this time capsule, were lost years ago when an earthquake destroyed the original town hall. No one has been able to locate it since. Until today." Violet and Wally exchanged glances. "We thought it was full of buried treasure," Violet said, hiding her disappointment. "This is even more precious than buried treasure, Violet," Clara said. "It contains a rare look into the past and our town's history. For so long, much of our history was a big question mark, but you just discovered a box full of answers." Violet smiled. That actually sounded pretty neat. "But we can't get it open," Wally reminded them. "We need the original key." "Leave that to me," Clara said, clapping her hands. Chapter 9. The next day, Mayor Vespera and Clara hosted a History Day event at the local museum. Everyone in town gathered in the main hall to watch the opening of the time capsule. As it turned out, the key to the chest had been on display in the museum for many years, right alongside a sign that read, "Key to the Lost Time Capsule of Aquamarina." The key was one of the few items that had been salvaged after the earthquake. "More than 100 years ago," Clara began, "the founders of our beloved Aquamarina came together to create this time capsule on the day they named the town. Today, we honor our past, celebrate our present, and look with hope to our future." When she said "our future," she handed Violet and Wally a heavy gold key. "Go ahead and open it," she said. "You were the explorers who made this great discovery possible." Violet and Wally beamed and inserted the key into the lock together. "On 3, Wally said, adding, "And make sure you count medium." Violet laughed. 1, 2, 3. Click. The lock popped open. The hinges on the wooden box creaked. Violet felt her heart pounding. She had promised herself that she would find a way to open the chest, and she had finally done it. Inside the time capsule were lots of loose papers and photographs. Violet looked more closely. There were letters from family members to their loved ones, marriage and birth certificates, and a book called a register that listed every person who lived in town on the day the capsule was sealed. Each item contained valuable information about the founding of the town. Wally noticed some shiny coins scattered among the papers. "Looks like we found some gold after all," Wally said, nudging Violet. The coins were exciting, but it was a photograph near the top of the chest that caught Violet's eye. 2 sea creatures were smiling and holding hands. One of them held the register that was in the time capsule now. It reminded Violet of her brainstorming notebook. "Looks like the founders of our town were good friends too," Mayor Vespera said, putting her arms around Violet and Wally. "I'm so proud of your hard work, and I'm so happy that you're both starting to understand the importance of history." "You're right," Violet replied. "And that gives me an idea." Chapter 10. After the ceremony ended, Clara and her team put the contents of the time capsule on display in the museum for everyone in town to see. They even updated the sign to read, "The Found Time Capsule of Aquamarina." Violet invited Wally back to hang out in her newly cleaned bedroom and hear her idea. "Let's create our own time capsule," Violet said. "That's a great idea," Wally replied. Violet fished an old box out of her closet and stenciled "Best Friends Time Capsule" in big dark letters on top. "Now what should we include?" she asked, pulling off the lid. "Do you have any more seagrass cookies?" Wally asked. "Seagrass cookies?" Violet asked. "Those won't last long enough." "Oh, they're not for the time capsule," Wally replied, rubbing his tummy with his flippers. Violet chuckled and tossed him a couple of cookies from a nearby tray. Then she was off, rummaging through all of the things she had been ready to give away the day before. "I know exactly what I want to include," Violet said. She gathered up her favorite items from their past and placed them in the box. She included some old report cards, a second-place medal from the town spelling bee, and friendship bracelets that she and Wally had made long ago. On top, she put the photograph of her and Wally when they were babies. "To honor our past," she said, "and to celebrate our present." Violet and Wally posed to take a picture together and then added the photo to the box. "That should do it," Wally said. "Anything else?" "Yes," Violet told him. She picked up the front page of the local newspaper, the Aquamarina Times, and placed it on top of the pile. "I love it," Wally said. "Me too," Violet said. She put the lid back on the box. Violet and Wally carried their time capsule outside. They dug a big hole in the sand in Violet's backyard. They placed the box in the hole and covered it with sand. When they were done, Violet put a big rock on top so they'd remember where it was buried. "When do we open it?" Wally asked. "Let's do it in 10 years, Violet replied. "Deal!" It felt good to know that their memories, like their friendship, would be around for a long, long time. Build your own time capsule. Create your own time capsule, just like Violet and Wally. 1. Pick your treasure, such as journals, toys, pictures, clothes, and newspaper clippings. 2. Choose a container that's large enough to hold everything. 3. Add your items to the container and include a letter explaining your time capsule. 4. Seal your time capsule with tape or glue and put it in a place where it won't be disturbed. 5. Plan a time to open it, whether in a year or 50. It will be fun to rediscover your treasure. Look for more adventures with the Undersea Mystery Club, coming soon.